CrossCode is finally getting released on console, and I hope that means a lot of people get to play this incredible game. So if you're thinking about picking this up, which you really should, here are some tips to help get you started. Okay, tip number 1, triple dash. I just have to include this because even though the game mentions this, I just forgot about it. So you have 3 dashes, not just one like basically every other game you've ever played, and that means most of the time you want to use them. If you dash just once, you won't be able to dodge enemy attacks, which is what happened to me for the first 4 hours in the game. This is a pretty dumb tip, but considering I could have used it, I thought you might as well. Tip number 2, make sure to shoot everything while you explore a new area. When you first go through a new area, you might focus on taking down the enemies that you run across, but that is only half of what you're supposed to be doing here. You also need to shoot the trees, plants, and minerals that are scattered around the world. Both plants and enemies will drop materials that you need to buy items or upgrade your equipment. So if you're just going after the enemies, chances are you will be missing half the materials that you need. Now, having to shoot the plants might sound boring, but trying to get the ones that are higher off the ground will help you find dozens, if not hundreds, of secret areas and the maze-like platforming sections that will lead you to hidden paths and treasures. Make sure to look out for the exotic-looking plants that have different colored leaves and a strange glow. These are rare variations that will have a much higher chance at dropping some of the materials you will need. You can check the drop rate for each of them in the menu if you want more information. Number 3, keep your combo up. There's a combo system in the game where you essentially chain several combat encounters one after the other one. This will build a rank meter starting at D and going all the way up to S, with each rank providing better material drops from the enemies. Once you get to S rank, you'll have this cool music and stars flying across the screen, which I think is just a really fun and cool way to convey what's going on. This combo rank does not affect your experience or the amount of gold that you get from enemies, but if you want to farm gold, you can always sell the materials you get afterwards. Now, the thing is, to keep the combo going, you pretty much need to know where you're going and where the enemies are, so don't worry about this too much when you're just arriving at a new area. Just focus on beating some enemies, getting drops from plants, and finding all the paths and treasures. Once you've reached the town at the end, you can pick up some quests which might have you going back to the same trail. You can then think of specific routes that you can take to encounter as many enemies as possible at a consistent rate and focus on combat and keeping the S rank for as long as possible. You can even artificially extend the combo by avoiding damage from one enemy and kiting it while you wait for other enemies to respawn, so you won't have too much trouble doing this. Number 4, gear is everything. All this grinding and plant destroying isn't going to waste because your equipment is super important in CrossCode. As you make your way through the game, you'll level up and earn CP points that you can spend to earn new skills and increase your stats, which are only active while you're using that specific circuit, except for the neutral one, which is the one at the center, that provides half its bonuses while you're using one of the elements. Some of these nodes will give you something like 4% more attack power and stuff like that, but the increase you get from equipment is significantly higher than this. So if you're level 20 but you still have level 14 gear, you will be doing pretty much the same amount of damage you were doing 8 levels ago. Same goes for your health, how much damage you take, and so on. This also means it makes sense to focus your CP points on unlocking new skills rather than upgrading your base stats. Number 5, check your quest rewards. Speaking of upgrading equipment, make sure you check what quests are available and what their rewards are. You'll sometimes get rewarded armor or weapons, so before spending your hard-earned materials and gold, make sure you won't be getting that armor that you're about to buy from a quest that you'll be finishing soon. You won't really be getting much resources unless you really focus on grinding, so buying the wrong item or weapon can be pretty punishing. Number 6, check the modifiers. When you're looking at which weapon or piece of armor to upgrade, always check the weapon modifiers that are listed at the bottom left of the screen. I can't really find a proper way to highlight them and get detailed information on this console version, so you might have to search for the specific term on the CrossCode wiki. Some modifiers can make a huge difference, like adding more damage to your combos, reducing the amount of time it takes to aim, or making you move faster. There's even one that will regenerate your HP while you're in battle, so make sure you're not only looking at the base stats when deciding which weapon to buy, especially once you get deeper into the game and some of these synergies might become really important. Number 7. Mark the map. As you explore each new area, you will find several hidden treasures and long platforming sections. Some you might not even be able to get to or even open when you first see them, so make sure you use the map markers to mark items and paths along the map. It's not a super fleshed out system and you will often forget to do it, but it is extremely useful once traversal gets more complicated and you might have to look for a way to get to the higher path that you need to get from like 2 or 3 screens away from where you are. Number 8. Follow the lines. There are several different dungeons in the game which are filled with really clever puzzles that might have you scratching your head a couple of times, but looking at the lines and geometry on the floor will often provide clues as to what you're supposed to do. More often than not, these lines will sometimes indicate which angle you're supposed to shoot at with your orb or paths that you should follow, so make sure you pay attention to these and other markings to solve the puzzles even faster. Okay guys, that will be all. I don't want to get into more specific tips that might spoil some of the fun, but I hope you find these useful. If you have any other tips that you want to share, please do so down in the comment section. I'm deliberately choosing to ignore 2 movement related tips which are used in speedrunning because I think they might break the game for new players. So if you enjoyed this video, check out the other videos on the channel. I cover a lot of different games, from first-person shooters to RPGs to RTS games. So if you like all sorts of games, you might really like this channel. Okay guys, thanks for watching and I hope I will catch you in the next one.